What a crazy upcoming week we have. We're actually going to see the Fed and they're going to talk. We have an article that our adversary is now going to be friendly towards the real estate market in Congress. Oh my, next. Yes, you won't believe that article. I'm going to go over it, as well as we are looking at the numbers. Where is the direction of interest rates going? I know everyone's asking about it. And are people out there really buying homes? We're getting a lot of mixed messages. All next on Real Estate Daily. Welcome, everyone. My name is Troy. And every day we go over the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage market. Now, guys, let's get right down to it. You know, every Monday we start with the Kobesi letter. It tells us and reviews what's happening for the rest of the week. Let's jump right into it. It says JOLTS job data is tomorrow. Consumer confidence, which is really a mixed bag here. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. We're seeing the absolute debt go through the roof. We're seeing more people all time have multiple jobs than they ever did before. And we know that who's the number one creator of jobs? It's the government. And who believes those numbers when they did over 50% in 2023? That's all on Tuesday. Wednesday, Fed rate decision, manufacturing data is on Thursday, and manufacturing is tanking beyond belief. And I believe that this job data that's coming out, I mean, there's a certain point where you have to tap out and say, hey, the private sector is falling apart at the seams everywhere. Yet the government is the one propping the economy up off of debt. So they just keep creating more debt that you're going to pay back. Yeah, you're not going to pay it back. No one's paying it back. They're going to reset the system somewhere in the future. That's my idea. All right, and January jobs report are on Friday. 20% of the S&P 500 companies report earnings this week. Buckle up for an action-packed week ahead. Guys, if anything is going to explode up or go straight down into the ground, it is going to happen this week. There is no doubt about it. Now, one of the people at the Fed meeting is coming up, and I think that we're looking at a good chance that nothing's going to happen. You know, the job data is always just, it's so heavy on the government, you know, creating jobs, which I don't see any jobs created by the government, you know, especially I don't hear anyone talking about, you know, hey, I got a government job, whatever, but they keep being by far over 50%. Well, with that being said, what are we seeing here? And this is kind of a, the anti-crypto Elizabeth Warren, the woman that's been a career politician, the $70 million woman. I think she's starting to read Nancy Pelosi's book on how to get rich being a career politician and trading and shorting stocks. It says Senator Elizabeth Warren pushes Fed chairman to cut astronomical rates, easing housing pressure. Now, I don't think it has anything to do with housing pressure, and I think it has all to do with the elections, because I think that she feels that she's seeing the tide turn in a lot of different areas in the United States. They're just tired of it. They're tired of immigration problems. They're tired of inflation being up so high. They're just tired of it all, and so now they're now teetering on voting and how they're going to vote. So let's read what she has to say here. Elizabeth Warren and 3 other Democrats urge Fed Chair Powell to bring down interest rates as upcoming Fed meeting to expand affordable housing. Now, there is no affordable housing. If she wanted to have affordable housing, instead of handing billions of dollars in WARs out there all over the world, you know, and then are handing it to social issues, why didn't you go ahead and buy down some of the rates, or buy down and do some of the things in housing that would make it more affordable? If you look at the new home builders, and I've said this the last 3 years, Lenocker, KB Homes, doesn't matter, Land C, doesn't matter. Okay, there's no incentives to build affordable homes. Unless it's a profit center. They're only in business to make money. They're not in business to make affordable homes. And if they're going to make affordable homes, guess what? You have Blackstone or other hedge funds that will come in and buy those and turn them into rentals. Because then they have affordable housing that they can rent out. And the builders, It's so easy for them to know that they're going to have a seller or a buyer at the other end automatically. Again, this is just a facade. I haven't read into it enough to find out whether what her real agenda is, because her real agenda is never what she says out of her mouth. We all know that. Anyone in crypto knows that she has been killing crypto because she's saying that it's being used for illicit purposes, when we know the US dollar is by far historically the worst currency of all time, using for illicit activity. All right, let's go back to the Kobesi ladder. Guys, if you haven't got onto X, I mean, this just tells you where the real news is coming from. We are seeing CNN or MSNBC. We are seeing them just falter. The amount of people watching them continue to drop. You know, I know that CNN has tried to sell themselves off now for, I don't know how many years, 5 years? They started at 10 billion. Now they're up for sale for $1 billion, a little over $1 billion. Nobody wants to buy the rag, and nobody's watching the rag. And this is very interesting because this bucks the trend of we're seeing from the blue team. It says Fidelity has marked up the value of its shares in X by 11% during the month of December, according to a new disclosure. Usage of X, Twitter, is currently at all-time high of 384 billion users per second, or per users seconds per day. Man, this is insane, guys. If you really want, freedom of speech, this is where you go, right? Obviously, if you don't, then go to YouTube here, because if you're listening to me, you know that if there's certain words that I say that they're gonna axe me right now and say, nope, we're gonna cut down your users. We're gonna shut off the algorithm so you can't get picked up. And maybe that's what's happening to me right now. But we already know that. But on this app, we know that you can say what you want. It's freedom of speech. Obviously, you're looking at Facebook or even at YouTube. That just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen at all. All right, X is currently the #2 news app on Apple Store. I wonder what's overall what number it is. The amount of people on it, this just shows you that the prior regime that was in charge or ownership just didn't care. It was all about manipulation. They didn't care about growing it. This is a publicly traded company. You're there for the stockholders. You're not there for your social agenda. And that's why we're seeing X explode right now, is because they are about getting out there and getting free speech out, where that's what people want. It's what our country is founded on, period. Let's go to the interest rates, guys. All right, we did see a basically flat 0.00 for conforming, but look at FHA. Man, it took a good 4.5 basis points down to 6.429. Jumbo went down 24 points. I mean, we're starting to see this, correct more. Jumbo, you're pretty much, that's where you should be, but 15-year conforming, this should be in the 5s, guys. No question. Would you take a 30-year FHA or 15-year conforming? Well, guess what? They're too close to each other. I'd rather, if you want to pay it off quicker, it's here, but this rate needs to be in the 5s. If it's in the 5s, it becomes more enticing. If it's in the 6s, very few people are even looking at this. Hardly anyone's looking at this. All right. And you're asking me, Troy, what's going to happen tomorrow? Where is the 10-year bond? Guys, 10-year bond went down significantly today. We saw a huge drop. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. Huge drop. All of the bond, I think, like I've been telling you, I think somewhere where we actually went into 3.9s and 3.8s. And I told you, we're going to go up. We're going to hit our head on the 200. I know you're saying, oh, Troy, you're charting things. We're going to hit our head on the 200-day moving average, and then we're going to head down. And we're going to head down fairly quickly. Well, we're going to see what happens to the Fed this week. That's one major event that can happen. We see a lot of macro happening across the world, including a lot of things in the Middle East. We had 3 servicemen killed. We have no response from Department of Defense, and that guy's been he's been out of it. And does anybody really respect our president? I mean, let's just be very honest. There is no respect there. So with that being said, we're WW Uno, dos, tres is sitting right in front of us, and people are scared. And I think that that's another event that can cause these rates, the bond market, to just drop into oblivion, right? So that's what's called a black swan event. So, well, guys, I'm done my talking today. It is a Monday. I hope that everyone's had a good weekend, and now we're starting to see it. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, go down below. I have my buyer or seller's guide. That's absolutely a must read if you're buying or selling a home for the first time. Get you kind of comfortable with the process itself here in California. All right. Otherwise, you guys take care, and I will see you tomorrow.